Right, there we go. That does look a bit of a mess on there. Right, where, yeah. Oh. Okay, right, where price is now on this US DJPY up here, and where it's been, it's just touched this green line. It's took out these highs. It's just took out this one here, and it's making its way up to here. So I've got a feeling that it's going to go up higher. May well come up here before it goes back down. Now, I haven't got it marked on this, but all the way when it came down here, this is where I brought it up last week. I think 6th of Jan. I think it was somewhere like 7th of January when I started looking at this. And since then, it's gone up and up and up. And it was supposed to come down at some point, but it's just kept going. So I'm just going to drop down to the 4 hour. I'll zoom in on this and you'll be able to see it a little bit clearer. But it's took everything out. But on this 4 hour now, although it is starting to drop a little bit. It's got a little bit of a spurt on there now as I'm talking. I mean, when I spoke to you, Robert, I was 9 pips down. I'm 12, 13 up now.
All right, so that's moving quite, yeah.
So it's moving. There, look, it's moving quite quickly. I'll get on the 15-minute one. And that's a bit better. We can see what is going on here. So it looks like it's finally decided to do something, but it's had a couple of false starts in the past.
Yeah, it did this morning, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think this was this morning here when it started down here, and I thought, yeah, it's on.
That's what I got in this morning, and then I came out when it went against me. So
yeah. So I thought we might have been onto something here, but it just started to change its mind, and it's gone into this sort of write-off strategy, which is quite similar to this, very similar to this one, which is down here, which was on the 30-minute, where it's just come up to its point of supply here. Then we've had an automatic reaction to that, which is that candle, and it's gone up. This is the final candle, really the final thing, and then it's come down. But I was expecting it to come up and retest that a bit, right? Then we've had this coming down here, and then it's gone back up. So this all in here is distribution, right? And it's created, I'm saying this is just on the 15-minute, it's created equal highs there. So I don't know whether that's going to come back up and take that out. I don't know, but it's been really funny. I do expect it to come back up and test this point. It might even go past it, but it's, I mean, it's like weird. This candle here, this block here, this one here, that there is imbalance. So we've got some imbalance in there. So it's got to come down at least to this point and get rid of that. This morning, oh, that wasn't this morning, that's the 13th one. This is this morning. This from last night, normally you do get a little bit of consolidation during the Asian market, which is this time here till around about 5 in the morning, but it just took off. It just took off in the Asian market. Opened 11. Tokyo opened 11, went up and down a little bit, and then it just went and basically went all the way up there. But as they say, fast doesn't last. It did come back down, mitigated it somewhat but there was a little bit left in there, and it's just messed about, and then it eventually came down all the way down here, and this is where I thought this morning while it was on its way. You can see there, that's a really big wick all the way down there, and now it's bounced all the way back up again. So not really sure what's going on, but it's took everything out that was here. So all the people who were buying here are going up, and they've got the sell, they've got the stop losses in here, the sells, it's just took all them out. And then it's gone all the way back up again. And I don't think there was any news. I'll check the news. What could impact that? Well, that's a massive spike there. Well, not massive, but it's a big spike. From
There
where
was USD news this afternoon.
Yeah, it's 15. It's about the 15, 16 pip drop from there. 20 pip drop, actually, a little bit more. Yeah, but I don't think there's anything that's happened just now to cause that drop like that. So there's nothing too much to worry about until red flag there on GBP in the morning. I'm just going to check on the other one, see if there's anything different on there. There's a monthly budget statement according to this coming up in 17 minutes on the US dollar. So it's forecast.
There's something on Bloomberg, where it's about China tariffs. It just says live now, China tariffs will stay in place until after 2020 election. So is that what you were talking about earlier?
Oh, right, yeah, yeah. So that'll be it then. That'll be what's impacted that then, if that's come up on the news there.
Yeah.
Now, right, so if we where are we at on here? I'm so there. Tomorrow, US-China Phase 1 trade deal signature. United States and China governments are expected to sign their deal on Phase 1 new trade conditions. So do you think with that news from what you've just said there, from Bloomberg, probably knock that on their head?
I don't know, Liz. I've just read you what it says.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not an expert on it. It's just it's news, isn't it? News is news, but it looks like it's on its way back. Oh, there you go. So it's jumping around a bit, so maybe they're digesting that, and maybe this is probably, I don't know if it's genuine news and it has had an impact on it. It would probably settle down and go back up. That's quite a long way. I think if it comes back down, I might get out. See if it comes back down while we're talking. But yeah, it's a funny one. I fully expect it to come down here and on here, all the way down. Oops, put that back. All the way down on here. Narrow that. Where I've been looking at this, I notice there's a 15-minute chart. But all of this, right the way down, all of this is just sitting there waiting to be taken out. To there. Down here. All of this. That's just accumulated. There's a lot of liquidity in there. A lot of liquidity just sitting there waiting. There's some imbalance, I think, in some of these candles. I had a look at them. Probably not too much. I'll just go back, and I was on a 15-minute one. So that is the point there. I've got a mark with a red line there, 107.651, which is a long way, a few thousand pips, a couple of thousand pips there. But I fully expect it to come down and clear this imbalance up and take some of this out here before it goes back up and attempts these highs on the daily. Up there. Had a good go at that. Had a good go at that area there a few times. We're looking at that on the daily. I think the market wants to go down. It wants to go down. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Back to normal now. Back to normal on that.
So you're back in the loss then, normal?
It's bounced back up to my entry now on +2 on that.
Oh, wow.
But we'll see. We'll see. But it could well be that Bloomberg one of the news, that what you've mentioned there, that's had that impact on there. Okay. Right. I called a one last night on vibrator. Euro JPY. I got out of that with 5 pips. It kept hitting 5 pips and then going back down to 1 pip and break even and stuff like that. So when I got to about 9:45, I decided to get out of it. I think I put a message in the chat that it hit 5 pips a couple of times. Close it. I was going to stay in for 10, but it wouldn't go past 5. I think it got up to 5.5 at one point, so I just cashed out on that. So that's where we stand with that. GBP, USD, we were in that for a buy. I got up that for 27 pips this morning, and I got back in on that this afternoon, and I'm currently 28 pips on that. And I noticed Danny Reardon called that this afternoon as well. That's on GU, GBP, USD.
I had a sell on that overnight and got 20 pips. I put a take profit in, got 20 pips just before London opened this morning.
Yeah, so you can see I've marked the chart up on here. Again, this is the 15-minute one. They played a blinder this morning on this with during the Asian, where we had this consolidation, and then where they manipulated the market, and then it just dropped all the way down here.
Yeah.
Took out this. So
I nearly
you got in. Did you get in for the sells? Yes, Sarah.
I got in actually before bedtime, so I had to leave it all overnight because I got into about 18 pips drawdown. I was going to post it. I was going to post it in the group, but then I thought I daren't because of that. But I left it because my confirmation said it should drop, and sure enough, I put the take profit in 20 pips on that drop, and I just woke up, came and checked it, and it done it.
Yeah.
But I didn't dare post it because I didn't think people would like the drawdown. I was up and down on it quite a bit for a few hours, so I put a as I say, I put a take profit in.
Yeah. So
I think I didn't go to bed until I put a stop profit in. I don't usually do that.
What time was that?
It would have been, I got in, the price I got in was, let me just exit the screen. GU. was, hang on, I'll have to open it up. GU. I took all my markings off because of the live trading this afternoon. I got in at, I know it had 809 on the end. There we are. 809 was my entry, and I cashed out at 609. So I was in for quite a long time because I had my, it just didn't take me out. I had my stop profit in at,
yeah, you got out
30169.
You got out with this candle here.
Let's have a look. Hang on, let me come back to you.
That's 7 o'clock candle on mine.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I was looking at this,
You know, because sometimes when you call trades, you don't know what other people are expecting, and they're thinking, oh, it's because you have to put a bigger stop loss on the GBP pairs. So I'm never quite confident enough to give people some of my trades.
You certainly do. I got stopped out on a trailing stop this morning.
Especially if the market's been slow today and it's a bit, it's still not up to sort of like full speed, is it? You want to slap it in the face.
Yeah. So I got in down here.
Yeah.
And I went all the way up here and had a trailing stop, and it started coming back. And I got stopped out round about here on this black line, probably on the 61 on the fib here.
Mm.
The reason I've got that black line on there and it lines up nicely with that 61 is the fact that this here is what's called market manipulation, so I've learned. Then that is the 50%. That's right smack bang in the middle. It's supposed to be a quite important area. But it wasn't that important because it just went straight through and stopped us out. I had a trailing stop on, but at one point I was up to 45 pips and it come back down and it hit 27, I think. 27 pips, I think it was. I think I had about 15 or can't remember, something like that. 15 pip trailing stop, I think. One point it was 40, I think it went up to about 45 or 42, and then it come back and I got stopped out at 27. So I watched it. It came all the way back down, then it bounced along this one here, the 382. I mean, if you put it in reverse, it's the 61.8. But it just kept bouncing on there. So I thought, yeah, it's going to go up. I'll keep an eye on it and see. And what it did was it went back up to this 50, the 61.8 on here, but it went up this 50% line on the manipulation, and it kept touching it, and then eventually it broke through. And I thought, yeah, I'm going to get in here. So I just re-entered this on a buy again, and I've just been watching it go up. I've got a trailing stop on as well on that. So at the minute I'm 27 plus 27, and my trailing stop is at 17. So yeah, what's that, a 10 pip? 27, yeah, something like that. I think I've got a 10 or 15 pip trailing stop. But on this particular one, again, I do fully expect it to go up. The reason why is these areas here. It's already took these out. It's took that one out there, a little bit there, where the wicks have gone up. Just a little bit bigger. I do expect it to come back up. It's doing a little bit of a retracement at the minute, but I do expect it to come up and take all these out. And the reason why, and if you look on the Fibonacci, the 1.618 up the top, yeah, it hits the gap, this gap right in the middle. But this gap, when the market opened, if you don't know, sometimes when the market opens, and it happens quite often, and you can only really go down to the 15-minute or the 5-minute charts to find them. They don't normally show up on the higher time frames, obviously, because this can be hidden in a few of these candles. If you think this is a 15-minute candle and you maybe look at it on an hour, it's got 4 15-minute candles in there. So it can be hidden in that. But if you do go down to the lower time frames, 50-minute, 5-minute, you can sometimes find a gap. And gaps are significant, important, because is a form of imbalance in the market, and the market has to come up, price has to come back up to fill this gap. And I didn't know why at the time. And it's the same with imbalance in any particular candles, where you get like a fast candle, a fast moving candle. For example, this one here, maybe this is a fast moving candle. In 15 minutes it's gone up a few pips there, so we'll see this is a fast one. But what tends to happen is if it goes up fast, all the orders don't get filled. They're just manipulating and forcing the price up, and some of the sell orders in there don't get filled. So what happens is they have to come back and they have to mitigate that down. This is why you get this coming back down here. So this is what I thought what was going to happen here, because in this candle, oops, in this candle here, there was imbalance when it shot up because it went up too fast. So there was orders in there and been filled. So they do have to come down and fill them. And I thought it would have come down and filled them and then went back up. But decided to come a little bit further and then go back up. Why, I don't know. I'd looked at the other candles. There wasn't any imbalance in these or anything there. But the market did that, and I don't know why. But that there is just what are my interpretation anyway of GU and what's happened on that since the market opened at 10 o'clock last night and what's happened today. So
Les, when you talk about imbalance, is it just on one candle? There's about 5 candles before that big green one.
This one?
Yeah, but so those 5, wouldn't that be imbalanced because there's nothing against it, or has it got to be something that moves quickly for imbalance?
Well, the way to look at it, I'll just get rid of this fib. The way to look at it is, yeah, the all green candles going up, but what happens is the wick. See the wick? So yeah. I'll zoom in. I'll zoom in.
Yes, you're right. You're right there, Robert, because if you look, you're on the 15-minute time frame. Look further in at the 30-minute or the 1 hour, and that would just be one candle.
Yeah, that I was thinking, but I'm trying to understand this. Is the track? I'm pointing with my pointer, and you can't see it. The big candle.
You've got, well, what I'm going to do is, right, if you look here, candle's gone up, green candle, price has gone up, right? Then the next candle's opened. What it's done is it's wicked back down.
Oh, right, okay.
Right on? It's wicked back down. There'll be a slight imbalance in there, tiny little bit, because it hasn't come back to meet the previous candle's wick.
Okay.
Right? So there might just be a tiny little bit in there. Right? Candle goes up, wick's back down. Right on? Candle goes up. Next one, wick's back down. Candle goes up, wick's back down. Candle goes up, and it wicks down. All right. This last one was the FU candle, if you like, the banker's candle, or the FU candle, and then this is the candle that's come back down to fill that in. When they're selling, because you've got to remember they're putting sell orders in for us to buy.
Yeah.
They've got to come back down. In order to buy, they have to sell to make the price go up, right? So they have to sell, and this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to manipulate the price to go back up.
Yeah.
The easiest way to do this, Robert, if you've got a paid version of TradingView, there's an indicator in here in volume profile called fixed range, and if you click on that, the easiest way to do it is from where this candle started, the wick at the bottom. You can click on that and just stretch that up to that wick at the top. And what it does is it then shows you the volume in those candles, right? So from the 5 candles you were talking about in this particular sequence, what you can do is you can then zoom in. So what you need to do is just need to click on that cogwheel, always check show values. And then what you can do is you just need to scroll in a bit more. and make that a little bit wider, and then you'll start to see the figures.
Oh, right. Okay. Thank you.
All right. So as we look now, we can see these figures on those 5 candles. Right. What we're looking for is zeros. Right. We're looking for zeros. So you can see here, there's a little bit in there. Right. There's a little bit in there. There's a tiny little bit in there. That's all that's left. And there's a bit at the top here, right, when this was done, right? So that gives you an idea of that there's imbalance in that candle there, right? So what's happened is subsequently, I mean, when this candle was on its own, when I did this, there was zeros in this bit here. This sell candle, the red candle's come back down to mitigate that. Let's took these out. And again, it's come down and it come down and come down, and it just comes back down and it rebalances it. Now, I thought that when this come down, where I've got this black line as well, I didn't think it would go past that. I think it would just come down and do that, take out the imbalance and then go back up. But it didn't. It went further and further down to this area. But what you can do is you can just move it now. I mean, you can go on to the 5 minute as well if you want to look at the 5 minute candles. But what you can do is you can just start moving these. I'm just going to, for each candle, so if we start moving them around, I'm just trying to have a look and see what's left in these. So again, I'm just going to click on that and just make sure. Yeah, that's okay. And then again, I'm just going to zoom in and see if we can get it on there. All right. So now down here, we can see that there's a little bit of imbalance in that candle now. So you can be really accurate with this. So if you zoom in, you can see it there. So there's a little bit of imbalance there. So what you can do is, click on the little paintbrush I like to do, get a rectangle and just basically highlight that. And you can be quite exact with this if you want to, but I just normally highlight that and just drag it along to wherever I want to be, and then I can zoom out on the chart and have a look. So there is a little bit of imbalance in there. And then what we can do is we can just go and have a look at the next candle, where you can see on here where this wicks come, where the wicks come down. It's took whatever imbalance was there. So again, we can just move up onto this one now. So we did that one. That's it there. Move it onto there. And just move that one up to there. Now we can have a look in this candle. And we'll zoom in on that. And you can see there, there's some imbalance in that candle there. Right, a little bit in there. But when these wicks come back down, because this happens after it, when these wicks come down, it mitigates this and it balances it back up. All right, and it's the same year, it's the same year. You can go on and on and on and do them. But as the markets, as the days gone on and as the candles have painted onto the chart, so now after doing that, you can see if we zoom in or zoom out, sorry, we can see there that there's a little bit of imbalance left in there in this particular area here. So what we can do with that is just click on that. Let's just move that along there. And you can just leave that in there. That's 500 candles along there. But,
so what we're saying is, Les, the price has got to get down to that to get rid of that imbalance at some stage, then?
Yeah. The thing is, we don't know when.
No, exactly.
But you can make an educated guess by the market. When the price goes up, the market will form equal highs. Okay? Now, when the market forms equal highs and equal lows, and what we mean by that is where you've got two candles We look at that one there. You would see that this here now, I mean, that's a new one there. You could go along there, and I mean, I know this is a 15-minute chart, but you could see there reasonably that they're equal highs, right? So what's happening now is the market will tend to consolidate and go up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down like that, right? And the reason the market consolidates is for us to buy and sell, and our charts will tell us wherever there's equal highs, price will touch that equal high and then it'll go down, and it will go down, all right? But the only thing is it'll take all your orders out first because there'll be liquidity building up in here now. Now it's the same on this side now. As the prices started to go up, we've got people who are buying, right? And you've got to remember that when you're buying, there's got to be somebody on the end who's selling, right? Otherwise, the market gets out of balance, and you have candles where there's no orders being filled, and this is where you get the imbalance, right? Now, legally, and I just found this out yesterday, actually, the market must always balance up. You can't, otherwise, the market makers, the institutions, and the people who run this, who make this market, it's their playground. They've got to abide by certain rules and regulations. And they can't just send this price anywhere and up and down and force it up and not fill it with any orders. Otherwise, you know, they'll just take all our money off us, and they're not allowed to do that. It's got to be regulated. So this is why they do. This is why they must come back down and balance it, right? But we don't know when. Well, it just depends on how much money and stuff like that that's in the market and things like that, and when they can do this. But we know now that by equal highs, equal lows, that's probably not a great example, but I'll put that back there. Well, there's equal high there. All right, that's a 1 there. The equal highs, yeah. There. When that's been created. And if you see what's happened there, you see when the equal high's been created.
Yeah.
Price has come up there, touched it, and it's come down. It's gone up, it's touched it, and then it's come down. Then it's gone back up and it's took them out. So you might be thinking, oh, there's a couple of equal highs there, because if you look at all the charts and patterns and stuff like that, this could be a support, resistance, a level of resistance. And we taught that when these patterns are made, whether the W's or M's or equal highs or equal lows, we taught that when this happens, the market's going to go down and stuff like that. So this is what we're taught, and the people who make the markets know that. So what's happened is there'll be people who have sold here, and then there'll be people who have sold here, and they'll have placed stop losses above here. So what they've done is they've done what's called a fake out. Price dropped, and you're thinking, yeah, I'm in here now. This is it. It's on my way. And then the candle goes back up, back up, back up, back up, and eventually takes out the stop losses. That is on a 15-minute time frame, so it's not a very good example for that to actually happen there. But it has happened. But it just depends on the money and how much liquidity is in there. We can't see that. The institutions can. But I believe you can see it on MT5. I noticed somebody put it in on the MT5. You can see the orders and stuff like that. So, but yeah, that's basically what happens. And then it's gone up and it's took them out. But what you got to remember is these now are taking liquidity out. Now this has come up. It's taking all the liquidity that's been built up here, built up in here. It's taking it out as the price goes up. And I do expect this to continue up to this. It must fill this gap in here at some point. But all the while this is going up, there's people buying. I've bought, so I've got a stop loss in down here somewhere. I've got a trailing stop, which is a pending order. The trailing stop is just a pending order. Yeah, trailing stop is just a pending order, so it's going to go up there. So it doesn't see it as me winning a trade or losing a trade. It just sees it as an order when it comes down. And you may have heard the term stop hunt. So it's going to come down, and it's just looking for stop losses and pending orders and things like that. You've got buy limits, sell limits, buy stops, sell stops, stop losses. You know, you've got all them sitting in here, which people are doing. So once there's enough liquidity built up in there, the price will come back down again. So that's what's happening there on this one. But I do believe that this will go into a period of consolidation now, and it'll repeat something like this. What's happened here? When the market opens again at 10, it'll start doing this again, doing some consolidation. And then we'll have a little bit of market manipulation, and this may well decide to turn and come back down, but I do think it's going to go up here. Now the low, this is the low now at this bottom, 14th of January, that there is the low of the week so far. Right, now once this low has been set, right, down here, this market will stay bullish, should stay bullish for the rest of the week. GBP USD should stay bullish for the rest of the week, right? When we'll know more tomorrow when it's Wednesday, when we see what happens during the night during this Asian session. Here, high and low just stands for Asian range. And you can see on there that range. This is just the Asian market, right until up to about 5 in the morning our time, where it's just consolidated like that, and then there's a little bit of manipulation at the end, and then the banks move in, and then they're going to manipulate that price up. So that's what's happened there. And this, you can tell, if I measure that from the low to the high, it's only 16, 17 pips, 16 pips. So there's very, very little movement in that. Very little movement. Just been going up and down, just consolidating. Then you've got this little squiggle at the end where it just goes up, down, starts to narrow. You get this drop, which means the market wants to go up. You get a fake out, so it's faked out here. And if we look, there's a engulfing candle, which is a sign that the market's going to go down. What that means is just this sell candle here has engulfed this candle here. They're probably not a good example, but they're probably around about the right size. It's not the best engulfing candle you can get. That's a better one there, where they've done it there, and then it's followed by another one, and then it's just dropped, come down here, made this low, and then it's gone up, and then what it's done is it's retested. So what it's done is it's broke the low of the Asian, and then it breaks the high of the Asian range, and then it'll come back down and retest it at some point. It normally only comes down to this manipulation line here, but it went past it today, but it doesn't go down here, and then it's gone up, and that's what it's been doing ever since. So that's how that works, and the same thing might well happen tomorrow, but we don't know. That might be the move of the week, what's happened here. But we'll have to wait and find out tomorrow. Well, I know it's got nothing to do with BYOB in the harmonic scanner, but I did get into this entry initially on BYOB. It was called on the vibrator on the hourly when I got into this one. One thing I've noticed that I'll just jump in. One thing I've noticed about the Ninjacator on the higher time frames, and I'm looking into this in more detail now, is that it will give you when it gives you an indication of a buy or a sell, particularly on the hourly, and if you look if you want to go higher as well, if you use an indicator on the higher time frames, But if you, it's not so much on the 15-minute one, but I haven't really had a look. I've just noticed it on the higher time frames, particularly on the hourly. The first one it gives you, where the stochastics in the extreme, let's just say it's for a buy, and you get that alert on the Ninjacator. It's the second one. It's the second. It'll go and do it, and then it'll come back and retest, and then it'll go. It's the next one. So the first one is an indication. I think what it is, the first alert. Do you know? No, I'll get it up so you know what we're talking about. I'll get the Ninjacator on. So on one of these. There on the Ninjacator. Right. So I'll give you an example on this. This is on 15-minute Euro AUD. It'll give you. Just trying to look for a decent one. You see on here. It's give a sell there, and everything's matched up. The stochastics in the extreme. We've got the flat top candle, the SARS flip and everything, and it's given a sell, right? And you might have noticed. I don't know if you've noticed this yourself, but I don't know whether this is going to happen on the 15 minutes. I haven't looked at it too much. Well, it gives a sell, and then what happens is it goes against you. But what will happen is it'll do another sell again, right? But the thing is, the stochastic isn't sometimes isn't in the extreme, but when it gives that sell again, it then goes down. And I've noticed that on the higher time frame. So I don't know whether that is to do with just the market retesting. But you see, it's difficult because sometimes it'll give a sell and then they'll disappear. Do you know when they're? I don't know whether you've noticed that as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll get that alert, it'll come up as a sell, and then the candle, it'll look good, and you know, maybe you're getting into a trade, and then you go and have a look, and the sell has disappeared, and it's gone against you. But it's normally the second one after what I've noticed. But anyway, it's just something I noticed and I picked up on. I just thought, I wonder if that's like a pattern of it. See on here, we've had a strong buy up to there. It gives a sell. This is on the hourly. It gives you that sell there. Now, don't get us wrong. It gives you that sell signal there, that sell alert there, and then it goes down there to about 26 pips, which is fantastic. And then it goes against you. You can go into some drawdown there as well. It goes all the way up there. But the second one, the next one it gives, right? The stochastic isn't in the extreme. It's down now, but that is the better move. You see that? You've got in on that second sell. No drawdown. No drawdown. You can just go all the way down on that, right? And that's a 100 pip move on Euro AUD. That's a 100 pip move.
Have you found that on all currency pairs?
Yeah, I'm starting to notice it on the Ninjacator the more I'm using it, because I've got to say, and it's hats off to Kevin Orm. I don't know, because I haven't spoken to Kevin about it. Well, I know Kevin from the technical side of it. He's more like interested in setting it up and matching it up to what the alert is, the stochastic in the extreme, flat bottom candle, flat top candle, and so on, the SARS, the flip, and stuff like that. But I think he's created something here that we can use greatly to our advantage, and it's just noticing these things. It's just something I've noticed, but it's more on the bigger time frames. You get this sell, and you know, you might say, yeah, I'll get in on that. Everything lines up and it's perfect. But you've got a 20 pip move. I mean, you could have got in that, got out, and then on the second one, you can get in and then go. You know, but I'm saying that it just tends to be that second one where it's got the bigger move. It's just something I've noticed. I can't say it's on all currencies because I haven't traded all currencies from what I can remember. But it's just something to maybe note when you're looking at getting in.
So it's worth looking at tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah, it might make it easier to think when you can look and see, oh, well, that's the first one. I'll just watch this and see what happens. Yeah, it's done. Oh, it's turned against us. It's on its way up now. Then what happens is you get another one, and it's like an extra confirmation to say, yeah, there was a little bit of retracement, but this time we're going for it. And then you can see it just does it. It goes all the way down. There's a little bit of retracement there. I mean, you might have got out on there. But the SARs stay all the same. I mean, when you're on the higher time frames, if you're looking at trading them, you probably wouldn't have got out with the SAR flip anyway somewhere, yeah. So the SAR flip back up, and then you'll probably get out then. But yeah, if you're looking for wondering about where you would get out and things like that, that's where I would get out on the higher time frames. But yeah, it's just something I've noticed about an indicator, and I don't think I don't know if anybody else has noticed that, and it could just be to do with support and resistance and retracements and stuff like that. But if you can get in with some confidence and say, right, on this, I'm going to get in on the second sell, you know, particularly after this is what I'm saying, particularly after where you've had a big move like that. And again, if you look at it down here on this hour, on there, where you've had the buy, you've had the buy there, you've had the buy there. You can see there, it does move. It probably goes again for 20 odd pips or something. Then it pulls back and retraces. But on that one there, then it goes again. Yeah. That's away. I'll just take that angel bread off because there's too many lines on there. It's a bit clearer there. And then away it goes on another monster move. And of course, these may well tally up with the harmonic scanner as well. Could well be a harmonic pattern on the end of here, indicating a buy anyway on Euro AUD. I don't know whether it did 2nd of January or whenever it was. I'm not going to go back and have a look, but yeah. So that's it, really. Right.
Brilliant, Les. Thanks for all that.
That's enough of me waffling on about that.
No, it's not. It's brilliant. I can listen to you all night.
It's really good. Thanks, Les.
It's really interesting.
Yeah. Thanks very much. It's great to hear people say that because I spend a lot of time talking to myself, and it's nice to hear people say when you're looking at things like this. But I've got to say this indicator is really good. And you can apply it to anything. It's a great tool for entry, right? You've got to get your head around the fact that this isn't telling you get in now and put a sell in and you're going to win on this. You're going to get your 10 pips, your 20 pips, or whatever it is you're going for. All it is, it's saying to you, have a look at this, do some analysis. This is going to change it. And what you can do is, or whatever you're using, whether you're looking at banker strategies and balancing candles, whatever it is on your charts, whatever you're looking at and whatever analysis you're doing, right? You can always come back to this indicator and use it as a tool to enter into the market when the conditions are in your favor. Because you've got to remember, each one of these candles, the stochastic, the vortex I've got on here, the SAR, they're all indicators in their own right, and they're all trend indicators. They're all telling you that the Heikin-Ashi candles take out all the noise, if you like. They tend to smooth it because there may well be a lot more movement in each one of these candles, and if you put the normal candles on, you know, they'll change, and you'll see some green where the reds are and things like that, you know, and it's going up and down, up and down, up and down. But the Heikin-Ashi candles measure it, you know, and they're saying, look, we're in a downtrend here, and it's going to stay there. Yeah, it's pulling back a bit, but it's still going down. So this is why they're great candles to use. And of course, the SAR, the P-SAR, the parabolic stop and reverse, that's exactly what it means. When the SAR flips, it's indicating that there's going to be a reversal. It's going to be a change in the trend. And again, the stochastic's the same. It's an oscillator. Yeah, it's behind the price slightly. It's a lagging oscillator. It's still good to know and to understand that when you're using that, you know, when that blue line goes above that red, line and it's on its way, and you get nice things like that, it's going to go. And again, when it's a sell, when that blue crosses under the red and it starts heading down, you can see there, it's on, because it's a nice big one, you can see, you know, it's up, you can get in the extreme here. And you know, the stochastic, we always start at the stochastic, but you know, it is, after what I've said, it is just an indicator, right? Yes, it says if it's in the extreme, get in, because it eventually it can only go one way. When it's up here, it's eventually going to go down. The problem is it could stay up there, like here. It goes up and then it stays there for ages and ages and ages and ages and ages and ages. Then it eventually starts creeping down. You know, so that's the issue with the stochastic, if there is a one. But you know, this indicator is excellent for really any sort of strategy for using it as an entry into the market, into a trade, and of course when to get out as well. I know people sometimes struggle with when to get in and when to get out, but and for stop losses and things like that. But when you want to put a take profit in or anything like that, when you're looking at it, you can put an alert in trading view and just see when the SAR flips, send us an alert, and you can get out.
Les, I think in my view, the stochastic is a good one when you first start off using it. I think we're now getting more advanced and looking at an indicator. But I think somebody starting to say the rule one is the stochastic's got to be in extreme. I think that's a good starting point.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
Now we're moving on a bit.
It keeps you safe. When you're new, it keeps you safe.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't have this when we started, as you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But it keeps you safe if you stick to the stochastic in the extreme. It keeps you out of trades. And this is what I'm saying, where you get that first sell, the stochastics in the extreme. Yeah, go for your 10 pips, no problem. Get them.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. You know, switch it off and off you go and continue whatever you're doing for the rest of the day. But all I'm saying is I've noticed on the second one, on the higher time frames, there's a bigger move there.
Yes.
But it's showing you the retest, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
False
Exactly.
retest.
Exactly, Christine. That's exactly what it shows.
But interestingly enough as well, on that first one, that's actually meets all the criteria for the original BYOB.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
And we would never have got that second one. We would never have got in because the stochastic is just not where it should be.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Helen. Yeah.
Exactly.
I totally agree. But because we've got this indicator now and it's telling us, we would have just walked away from this. But all I'm saying now is with us using it now on a daily basis, and I'm thinking, that's cool.
I mean, we could have seen that before, couldn't we? I mean, it's a flat bottom candle. The SARs are flipped. But we wouldn't have done it because of the stochastic. So the indicator is kind of highlighting something that we never saw before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's exactly right, Helen. That's exactly right. So if you're not using this, start using it.
Interesting enough, that doesn't look like a flat bottom candle to me. Flat top candle, that one.
Yeah, it's a flat top, isn't it?
Is it? It looks like, okay, it's obviously just the screen.
Oh. I think it's the
there you go. Yeah.
So
yeah.
No, I think when it first came out, the indicator, I think it's good. But now we're getting more into it, Les, and I'm using it, not on the high time frame like this. I didn't know about this. This is brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, there's other things as well. Obviously, the Bollinger Bands that are important. You know, just to mention them, if people are wondering why I haven't. Obviously, you've got the Bollinger Bands there as well, so they're nice and wide. You know, if you're wondering about the Bollinger Bands, and you can see there, where it's been narrow, where you've had this consolidation period, but you can see here where it's hugging the outside of this when it's in this large or big strong uptrend, and it gets up to here, and then you've got that little retracement. Again, you know, it's telling you there, once you get that it's getting ready to go, and you can tell because the bands are getting wider. They're getting stretched like that elastic band, and then obviously it's touched that band there. And then the elastic band's just popped it and sent it on its way down here.
But because the stochastic isn't in the extreme at that stage, then it's not complying. It's a new strategy.
Well, I'm not
Because
saying
it's not
it's a new.
BYOB.
I'm not suggesting it's a new strategy, Christine. What I'm saying is it's just something I've noticed, and I'm going to probably test it a bit more, and then we can probably say, because I don't want to say to people, yeah, start doing this, it's great, and then everybody starts getting into trades.
I agree, Les. I think basically we've got to do our own work on it.
Yeah,
this is taking it to the next level, because
there's the official one there. That one.
Yeah.
Because I was on with Tasha today, and she wasn't on the higher time frames, but she was showing how you can take, and she was with the GBP pairs, and she was showing about as long as the trend was going in and the stochastic was actually only halfway through the purple zone, and she was still saying you can get some trades here, and showing how you can do it.
You can, but you do. You know, the stochastic there is a safety mechanism.
Yes, I agree.
Right, and this is what I'm saying about on this second one, where you've had that pullback, it matches up with what's happened here. But on this second one, like I said, what I've noticed, although the stochastic isn't extreme, it's, to me, in my opinion,
going down.
It's still high enough. It's still high enough to come down. It's still got room. And what you've got to remember is the higher up you go in the time frames, the longer the take to get to the bottom and to get to the top. So if you decide to get in on this second one, I'll just draw that vertical line down there. If you decided to get in on this second one, you've got to remember it's still got quite a long way to go down to the bottom here. I'll just make that a bit bigger. Get rid of that. Do that again. So if you've got in about there, what's happened? That's it. Yeah, it's still got a way to go down there. Why is it not measuring? Normally does measure. No, it's not measuring for some reason. But anyway, I don't know why it's twice it's done that today. But yeah, it's still got a way to go. And of course, this little white bit at the bottom and at the top, it can actually go all the way down to the bottom of that as well. So, I mean, you can see here, there's some examples there where it's come all the way down into there. Some of them go further, deeper than others. If we just go back there.
That's a 0 and 100, isn't it?
Yeah. That's between 0 and 100, yeah. I don't know why that's it there. That's it there. It just I don't know what's happened there. I don't know what's happened there. Well, it'll sort itself out eventually. I'll just refresh that. See if it works. Yeah, it's gone back. So it can still go a way down, and as it has, then it's gone. A little bit of retracement, and then it's gone. I mean, you might have got out there, and this is just purely down to experience. You might think, yeah, that's enough for me, but the saw hasn't flipped. You could have stayed in until the saw actually flipped. You've got a few more pips, not many, but you know. But yeah, that's what I've noticed anyway. Right. I was going to go through some trades tonight, but as usual, an hour's never long enough once you start talking about this stuff.
Yeah, but that was absolutely brilliant what you just gone through. I learned so much about it.
Yeah, it's really good. Thanks, Les.
Really good. And you're on tomorrow morning, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm on tomorrow. I'm just going to do vibrata.
Okay.
This has been recorded anyway, and it's in the group. If people want to watch it, if you want to, you can put a comment underneath and just say, you know, great session tonight or something like that, and it gets people to watch them anyway. But yeah.
I watched the one from last week that I was on with you, because that was another training one, and that was absolutely brilliant again. I keep watching them.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes people tune in and they just want trades, but
what I would like though at some stage is a means of showing which ones they are, sort of, how can you say it, so that you can refer back to them by either numbering them up.
Oh, the trades, you mean?
No, these calls.
Oh, all right, yeah, I've got you, yeah.
Because otherwise you've got to go scroll right through all the Facebook page, haven't you, to find them?
So being able to tell whether they're training or trading.
Well,
yes.
All right.
And training on what, for example?
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't know I was going to do this.
No.
That's our fault, Les, isn't it?
Yeah.
I didn't know I was going to do this, to tell you the truth.
But now that you know it, when it's labelled up, can't it have a different name or some form where we can come back to it?
I mean, what I can do, I mean, I stopped doing the Sunday because nobody was coming on. And I was going on Sunday night, and I know it's the weekend, but the market's open Sunday night, 10 o'clock in the UK, 5 p.m. obviously Eastern Standard Time on a Sunday. But I was coming on at 8 o'clock, and I was doing stuff on there, and the whole idea for that was just basically to do stuff like this, to go over what had happened and to look at setups and charts and things like that and talk about this type of stuff.
But these impromptu ones are good.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Christine, I honestly didn't know I was going to do this tonight. It's just what I've been looking at today over the last few days. And it's just happened. It's just these things happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like I was going to say before, I know people sometimes come on and they want people to call out trades and stuff like that. But
hey, Les, it's Jason.
There are lots of people who do that.
Yeah, hi, Jason.
Yeah. Did you say the London market is open on Sunday
evening?
No.
It opens at the.
That's not right.
No, 10 p.m. The market's open at 10 p.m. Sunday night, and that is for Sydney opens first at 10 o'clock.
Australia, okay.
And then at 11 o'clock or 6 p.m. New York time, it is the Tokyo session. All right. Now, what happens is on a Sunday, the markets tend to open up on a Sunday, second, third. I'll go back here. Yeah, that's it. Sunday. We'll just go back here. The markets will open here, and I've got a price marker on there. Sunday's opening, and then we go into Monday, and I've got Monday's low and Monday's high. That's just so when I know the next day when it goes into Tuesday. But yeah, it's Asian. It's the Asian market. I mean, some people say there isn't a Sydney market. It's the Asian and Pacific market to call it. I think that's its official name. But it's at 10 o'clock. I mean, obviously London doesn't open until around about 8 o'clock. 7. I think it's 7 officially, but I think it's about 8 o'clock when it gets going. Sometimes you'll see moves at 7. It's 7 a.m. But it's normally 8 o'clock. All right. So yeah, I've got that marked up with 8. So yeah, this is something I do, what I've learned to do now, and this is on all currency pairs, is just mark out that Asian range from when the Asian markets open, and this will be our time, UK time. It's 11 at night till 5 in the morning. So that will be 6 till midnight over in New York. I just generally mark that up, the range, and if it's less, I mean, this is a bit Chuck Jones, Charles Jones. This is a bit Underground Railroad. It's slightly different to what he does, but it's a bit underground railroadish, where we're just looking for a narrow consolidation between less than 20, up to 20 pips. If it's over, I just leave it. But then I just look for this manipulation at the end to see what's going to happen. Now, sometimes it doesn't happen straight away. Sometimes it just meanders along and makes you think it's going to, there's the fake out there. You see there where it's going to move. The Asian range to make you think that the price is going to go up. Then it just comes back down. You've got that some consolidation. And it drops down a bit, goes back up, and then woof, you've got the big candles all the way down. Last week, that was the low of the week. Last week, I think. Wednesday. So the low of the week this week so far, I haven't marked it up one here yet. It'll be here somewhere. 7, 8, 9. So it'll be in there. So what this tells us is the high of the week's up here, right? Well, it probably won't go any higher than that. You normally get the high of the week by early hours Wednesday. So if it's going to go, it'll go up tonight, higher than that, this one, UJ. If it's going to go high, it'll go. If it doesn't go, if it hasn't gone past that in the early hours of the morning or the rest of the evening, this will start coming down. That's UJ. Can't guarantee that, like. But that's what I think anyway. But right, I'm gonna stop now. I'm sorry I haven't gone through the harmonic scanner or vibrato or anything like that tonight. But I hope you found some value in this. It's a good idea. It's a good idea what you've said, Christine. I will try.
No, all I was thinking was getting all of these Zooms in a place where perhaps we have them subsectioned under your name and Paul's name and something else, whoever, Sarah's, and so that we can see where you are, keep them all together.
Yeah. Right now I'm just going to stop everything here.